Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
I don't think anybody's here yet, but hi anyway. Mrs. Snarky here, of course. This is my channel. Who the fuck else would it be? Here with just Maddie.
I'm just Maddie, and I'm from the Objectively Subjective channel, and that's a new channel. So if you'd come over and subscribe to me, that'd be great. I have way less subs than Snarky now.
You do.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and put your channel in the chat.
Oh, I was already doing that.
Well, I beat you to it.
Did you?
So, yeah, I did. By a second.
Mine shows up first for me.
Oh, that's so not fair. That's so not fair.
Ha 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 ha.
Well, anyway, we are here to dive into some more epic titties.
Yay, epic titties.
Epic titties. Hi there.
Titties that are epic.
Actually, it's pronounced Epictetus, but I just like saying epic titties because it makes it fun, you know?
Yes.
So we've made it so far from the first section through 18, and we're now on 19. Did you want to go through like a little recap of what we've gone over so far?
We've gone through 1 through 18.
Do you remember what we discussed?
Well, there's been a lot discussed. All kinds of stoic goodness.
Stuff. Stoic goodness.
Yes, we've discussed the Stoics, how you some things are under your control, some things are not under your control. Sometimes you're going to get sick, sometimes people are going to die, sometimes it's going to be rainy when you wanted it to be sunny, and learn to live with those things. And like the last one that we talked about the last time was don't worry about omens, because they don't really tell you what's going to happen.
Nope, that's pretty good summary, I'd say.
Yeah. I did it with the epic titties.
Hey, are my titties epic?
Yes.
Okay, then I guess that's a true statement. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and move forward. Section 19. You may be unconquerable if you enter into no combat in which it is not your own control to conquer. When, therefore, you see anyone eminent in honors or power or high esteem or on any other account, take heed not to be hurried away with the appearance and to pronounce him happy. For if the essence of good consists in things in our control, there would be no room for envy or emulation. But for your part, don't wish to be a general or a senator or a consul, but to be free. And the only way to do this is contempt the things that are not in our control, our own control. So this is kind of like tricky, right? I mean,
I don't know.
It kind of is. It sounds like he's saying, you know, don't try to get involved in politics. Right, but that's not exactly what he's saying, is it?
No, he's saying, okay, so like I related this story on Brief Brain Facts channel earlier in the week, where I did backbreaking work for about 15 years in factories. And after that, I was like, oh, I've got to go back to school. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get a desk job. I'm going to go home full of energy every single day. And then I realized, no, you still go home and you're like, oh, I've worked so hard. And what this really boils down to is don't seek a position of power simply because you think that's going to make you happier, because it won't necessarily make you happier. Probably the most unhappy person in the US right now is our current president.
Was he ever happy?
I don't think he's ever happy. He wakes up, he pulls the charger for his phone out of his asshole and goes to tweeting.
Yeah, pretty much.
And just tweets away throughout the day. But it's because he has, like, as president, you have almost no freedom. Like there's everything is dictated to him basically throughout the day.
Right.
he can't just decide. Well, I mean, he goes on a lot of vacations, but even on vacations, he's constantly being watched. And so there's not really a level of freedom that you or I might have throughout the day. Where if I want to walk around in my underpants all day, I can do that. But like with the president, if the president walked around in his underpants all day, that would be national news. The president walked around the White House all day in his underpants.
I mean, if you were president, that would probably be true. And I wanted to,
and it has happened before. Like, was it? Who was it? One of the presidents used to go out and swim in a river naked every single day.
Oh my God!
In the Potomac, and I can't remember which president it was right now. I'm sure one of the wonderful people watching will be able to figure that out for me. But like Johnson used to do presidential business while taking shits. He would have someone outside. He would have the door open, dictating speeches to someone outside the door as he's pinching off a huge one. Like, it's like, I mean, there's no freedom in power. Like once you're in a, like, and if you think about it, like in a dictatorship, those people have even less power.
True.
Because they have to constantly be afraid that someone is going to come in and take their power away from them.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at like Stalin and whatnot, I mean, he lived his life in utter fear and paranoia. Like that was his life. I would not want to know. Not to mention all the killing and barbarous bullshit that he did. But when I read this passage, I mean, I kind of get the same idea that you get, but it's a little different for me. When I read this, it kind of, like I said, I'm always going back to this like Buddhist philosophy kind of thing, because it just reminds me of that. That's just what it screams to me. So if you're pursuing, you're in constant pursuit of some kind of prestige, you're never going to be happy. Even if you gain that prestige, you're going to find yourself still wanting something else.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of the idea that I get from this passage.
It's like that rich couple that we were talking about on last night's stream that had the $500,000 budget, and they were whining they can only take 3 vacations a year. What kind of banana republic is this where you can only take 3 vacations a year? Only spend $18,000 a year on vacations. This is it. They are really just barely making it.
Well, you know, like when they do studies on happiness, it tends to level off no matter what your status or, you know, what events have happened in your life. Like even if it's something bad happens to you, like I don't know, you suddenly like lose your ability to walk, you're going to be sad for a while, but after time passes, you'll level off again in terms of your mood and your happiness. And it's the same for like rich people. Like if they are accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and then they're, oh my God, I have to be upper middle class? No. I mean, that it's still, you know, downward. I mean, for us, it's like, what the fuck? But honestly, I mean, that's not what they're accustomed to. They have to adapt.
Yeah, they have to adapt. And like you said, so we always like to say money can't buy happiness, but money can buy happiness up to a point. And I think the point, if I remember the study I read that was correct, the point is around $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
Average. It's going to be lower in some areas. It's going to be higher in some other areas. But once you reach the point where you're basically middle income, more money doesn't really make you happier.
Right. If you have enough to make it, to provide for your needs and, you know, your family's needs and things like that, you really don't need any more wealth. I mean, I know that's, oh my God, freaking socialist. But I mean, really, that's.
Well, you don't really, like, as soon as you get to a point where you're able to fulfill all your basic needs on a consistent basis. And many people spend years upon years upon years striving towards that goal. I know I did, and we still struggle sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But once you get to where you're able to fulfill all those basic needs, and then you can start having excess money, you can only buy so much stuff. Like,
right.
And people say, well, if I had more money, I would travel the world. But that also is based on a set of conditions that might not be in your control.
Right.
Because if you have an important position at your work, I've worked 5 years at the same job and have taken one vacation in that 5 years. So
yeah.
Now we have a little bit more leeway, so I should be able to take more vacations soon, at least once a year. But yeah, like, just because you have vacation time doesn't mean that you get vacation.
Right. Sometimes you just want to walk around in your underwear for vacation.
Yeah, that's what I want to. That's my vacation. I would be perfectly happy, and that's true. If I could just walk around in my underwear for a week, just do nothing at all, and I would go back to work so happy. Like, it was the perfect vacation.
Didn't have to drive anywhere.
It was amazing.
Didn't have to pack.
I watched one program on Alaska and another program on Australia, and I saw all the best parts of both of those places. It was great.
Oh my gosh. But honestly, there's nothing better than actually standing on top of the mountain and taking in the view. There really isn't.
Well,
that experience, having the wind blow through your hair and just the smells and the,
Yeah, the smells would be the shit dripping out of my pants. I'm horrified of heights. There's no way.
Me too, but that's part of the exhilaration.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not exhilarating. That's just like,
all right.
I would be laying upon my stomach, holding on to the ground.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you would be able to to do that, but all right. So, do you want to read the next section?
Remember that not he who gives ill language or a blow insults, but the principle which represents these things is insulting. When, therefore, anyone provokes you, be assured that it is your opinion which provokes you. Try, therefore, in the first place, not to be hurried away with the appearance. For if you once gain time and respite, you will more easily command yourself.
This is difficult to do.
It's difficult, but it's fun.
It is fun. It's fun because you know that person is meaning to do you harm, is meaning to insult you. And when it doesn't work, they get confused.
They get even more upset.
They
enraged. Why?
It is fun.
It just doesn't work.
It's fun because, and it kind of goes back to that adage, it's not things that upset you, but the way you perceive them.
Yeah.
So if you perceive somebody who's, of course, trying to insult you, but if you don't take the insult, is it really insulting? I don't know. I mean, is the person looking like a jackass? Yeah. But I mean, you have control over your responses, of course. So if you respond in a way that's like cool, or if you don't respond at all, or if you just don't take it seriously, it goes a lot better. At least in my experience.
I agree. That's like most of the trolls that I have, like in the comment sections. If you just say something nice, like "thank you for the view," and then go on, like then they'll just go vitriolic, just hateful, just yeah. Well, you just came back, so thanks again.
Yes. That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's not the ill language or the blows that are insulting. It's how you take it. Because if you're a person who has a strong set of ethics, people can say whatever they want about you, and it shouldn't affect you.
Yep.
Because they're not going to be able to come up with anything that actually goes against you. And the people that care for you are going to understand that it's bullshit.
Yes, they are. They're going to be paying attention because they care enough. There are going to be people that lie about you, that gossip about you, that say all kinds of hateful things.
Oh yeah.
That's going to happen. Well,
and the thing is people will, the people that do that, generally you're not the first person they've done it with.
Oh, hell no, you're not. No.
So people that like to talk shit and just go on tirades all the time, chances are they've gone on tirades about hundreds of people in the past.
And they will continue to do so. That's a pattern.
People catch on to that, and if they're like, oh, okay, you're just a shit starter. So
yeah,
try not to worry too much when people do this, especially if you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And just let it go away.
Yeah, a lot of times people will
troll be gone.
If you're a person of principle that says, no, I will not comply with this horrible thing, then yeah, people are going to come at you. You know, that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But it's important that you stand by what you know to be the right thing and not let others coerce you by, you know, insulting you or threatening you or anything of the sort. Because at the end of the day, those people aren't going to be there, but you have to be there with yourself the rest of your life. So, you know,
like if you wake up and you can say you like yourself as a person, fuck what anybody else thinks.
Exactly. Let death and exile and all other things which appear terrible be daily before your eyes, but chiefly death, and you win never. And
it's a bad translation. It's
and you will never entertain any abject thought, nor to eagerly convey or covet anything.
Yeah, so if you know death's coming, then you, like, people spend so much time and energy on such bullshit. Like bringing back up the talk about the people who had the $500,000 budget. They had a $1.5 million house. No one fucking needs a $1.5 million house.
Jeez.
If you really think you're struggling at $500,000 a year, get a smaller house.
Right.
And that's what this is saying. Like, it kind of goes along. So Christianity stole a lot of Stoicism.
Yes, they did.
They stole a lot from Stoicism and they stole a lot from Epicureanism.
Yes.
And with this is the idea of don't store up for tomorrow, because you only have today. But they're not saying don't be prepared, just don't ignorantly prepare. Like,
yeah, don't be a hoarder.
Yeah, well, there are so many people that will save and save and save and save for retirement, and then they die at 60.
Yeah.
Well, sure, their family is better prepared when that happens, which is good.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to enjoy life at all.
Yeah, that's where moderation comes in, I think. And when it comes to like death and exile, especially, these are things that are really, really difficult to face.
Yeah.
But this is a Stoic practice that is very helpful, actually. It's, what is it called? Negative contemplation?
Yeah, negative contemplation.
Yeah, when you sit there and you kind of meditate on the idea of death or the idea of something horrible happening, in order to prepare yourself for when this thing is going to come. And it's a good practice because we all dread the idea of death, okay? It's just kind of an innate part of our nature, you know. We want to survive. I think it is. I think it's kind of like, unless you have even somebody who's depressed will, when attacked, fight for their lives, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean by it's innate within us. It's kind of a primal thing.
Yeah.
So the idea of death is very disturbing to us. Yes. But it's gonna happen. And we kind of stress ourselves out about this concept of our lives ending.
Yeah.
So whenever we contemplate it, it lessens the blow. It gives us the courage to face each day without feeling that anxiety, that, you know, of impending doom on the horizon. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, yeah. I think that's a very important aspect of all of this, really.
I think most people go through a time period where they fear death. I don't think I fear death really anymore. No? Like when you realize that you're mortal, because, and I say that kind of jokingly, but teenagers tend to see themselves as immortal.
Yeah, they do.
They do all kinds of idiotic things and things that could just easily get you killed. So like once you have that first time, like the first time you ever in the hospital and they're like, you could have died, and you have to sit there and go, oh, death is something that's real.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of dread it. I was a really weird kid though. I dreaded death a lot because my great grandfather died when I was 6 years old. And from that point on, I thought I was going to die for like the next 12 years or so. Yeah. Like every day I'd be like, I'm going to die today. I'm going to die. My grandpa died. I'm going to die. And,
well, yeah, I mean, you're kind of jolted into the reality of it.
Yeah.
You're faced with your own mortality.
Yes, you are. But like once you get older, like I know some people that still adamantly fear death. I work with someone that can't even say the word death, which is really weird to me.
Wow.
And they're in their mid 40s. But like for me, it's just a thing. It's going to happen at some point. Like I've made it to my peak age, I think 35. I'm good. Anytime extra is extra now.
You better not die on me ever.
Well, I'm going to have to die on you at some point. Well,
you can't.
I would prefer to die on you.
Oh, please don't.
That's the way I want to go.
You know how horrible that's going to make me feel. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What? No, look, you would have literally fucked me to death. So you could,
if
that would
you're
be a badge
on top of
honor.
me, wait. If you're on top of me, who's fucking who?
Well, I would, okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, yeah, why not?
Oh my God. Oh my God. What am I going to do with you?
Like they always like orgasm itself. It doesn't it mean the little death or
yes.
And so,
and in astrology, the house of death is also the house of sex.
So if that's what death is like, fuck.
Well, I mean, people that have studied, you know, near death and whatever, they've discovered that your brain basically fills up with like endorphins and painkillers and, you know, whatever happiness. You get flooded with happiness before you die. So that might be the case. It might be even better than an orgasm. I don't know.
There we go.
But no, please, no.
There we go. So if death itself is like an orgasm and you die while orgasming, that's like quadruple orgasms.
Well, I'm sure David Carradine could
No,
attest to that.
it's too soon for that.
Could attest to that if he were alive.
That is not a joke, we should say.
I'm not, I mean, it fits.
No, yes, I understand autoerotic asphyxiation is a thing, but
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's not a good idea.
I'm not funny.
Don't.
I'm not a funny person.
She made the very dark joke.
I did. Darkness is my friend. Oh, darkness, my old friend.
Now you just read on.
Now this is going to be a gray one. If you have an earnest desire of attaining to philosophy, prepare yourself from the very first to be laughed at, to be sneered at by the multitude, and to hear them say, "He has returned to us a philosopher all at once." And whence this supercilious look? Now, for your part, don't have a supercilious look indeed, but keep steadily to those which appear best to you, as one appointed by God to this station. For remember that, if you adhere to the same point, those very persons who at first ridiculed you will afterwards admire you. But if you are conquered by them, you will incur a double ridicule. This is interesting to me because people look at philosophy, with scorn often, especially the philosophers, they're just so
well, they do. And I don't want to get like too off on this one because it's a little different for what it was back then.
Yes.
Because during the time of the Stoics, there were a bunch of different schools of philosophy, and these different schools of philosophy tended to dress differently and would wear their beards differently. And so you would have a philosopher look.
Yeah.
But it's this supercilious look, like you don't go around acting like you're better than people just because you know philosophy. That's the thing.
Exactly. And I think this is something that a lot of philosophers need to read every day.
Yes.
Because many of them tend to be pompous asses.
Well, and it's like, yeah, and if you want to go around saying you're a brilliant philosopher, and then someone is able to, the philosopher themselves shouldn't be easily riled. Because they should have their passions under control to a certain degree.
Well, I'm out. Bye.
But they should be able to carry on a conversation. And if you have someone that's claiming they're a philosopher and they can't carry on a proper conversation with someone,
or if they insult somebody just because they're not understanding or they're not explaining it well enough.
Yeah, and that's what it's saying. If you're conquered by them by acting like an asshole, then you're not only a shitty philosopher, you're also a shitty person.
Yeah, we know a couple of those. Anyway,
that's what that's what that double ridicule is they will not respect the philosopher that you tried to present yourself as, but you've also lost respect as the person you were before you were presenting yourself as a philosopher.
And two, I also want to, and looking back at this historically, before this time and around this time, there were also culty kind of philosophy groups. There were.
This is funny, and I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Okay.
Somehow my OK Google on my phone started up, and everything we just said for the past 5, or I said for the past 5 minutes, was in one long Google search. And it was and it said at the bottom, did you mean philosophy? So that whole long spiel popped up as, did you just mean, you used a lot of words there. I'm pretty sure you meant philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, philosophy does tend to be pretty wordy.
Yes. But go ahead. That was just funny.
Oh, if you ever happen to turn your attention to externals so as to wish to please anyone, be assured that you have ruined your scheme of life. Be contented then in everything with being a philosopher, and if you wish to be thought so likewise by anyone, appear so to yourself, and it shall suffice you.
Mhm.
This is perfect. This is perfect
Yep.
because you don't want to go, well, I'm a philosopher and all the other philosophers, they agree with me and they all have PhDs and I'm a philosopher and philosophy this, philosophy that. You're an ass. Okay? Yeah. Nobody wants to listen to somebody like that. Be content with knowing your philosophy and living your philosophy.
Yes.
Be content with that.
It's saying if you want to be thought of as a philosopher, then think of yourself as a philosopher. Don't worry what other people see you as.
Yeah, because in
all reality,
in all reality, philosophy is not an endeavor to make yourself look good to people.
No.
Philosophy is an endeavor to improve yourself. It's an esoteric journey. It's trying to understand who you are, how you should live, and what the nature of things are.
And how you should live as in a how you yourself should
personally
live. Not how this philosophy tells you should live.
Like I said, it's a personal journey. You know, it's you asking the question of yourself, how should I personally live?
That's why there's hundreds, if not thousands, of schools of philosophy that are equally as valid. But most of them might not fit you, and you might find one that fits you.
Right.
And everyone has a personal philosophy that they guide their lives on, because it's just, how do you think?
Right.
That philosophy itself is, how do you think?
Yes.
So if you think, you philosophy.
Therefore you are.
Yeah. people don't like that. But that's what it is. Like, philosophy is just, how do you think? It's the love of knowledge, but it's how do you attain knowledge?
Yeah. And what do you do with that knowledge?
Yeah.
That's to me what wisdom is. It's seeking knowledge and using it wisely.
Yeah.
Right? You want to read this long paragraph?
Oh boy, don't I?
Yes.
Don't allow such considerations as these distress you. Burp.
I'm distressed by this burp.
Don't allow such considerations as these distress you. I will live in dishonor and be nobody anywhere. For if dishonor is an evil, you can no more be involved in any evil by the means of another than be engaged in anything base. Is it any business of yours then to gain power or to be admitted to an entertainment? By no means. How then, after all, is this a dishonor? And how is it true that you will be nobody anywhere, when you ought to be somebody in those things only which are in your control, in which you may have the greatest consequence? But my friends will be unassisted. What do you mean by unassisted? They will not have money from you, nor will you make them Roman citizens? Who told you then that these are among the things in your own control, and not the affairs of others? And who can give to another the things which he not has himself? Well, but get them then, that we too may have a share. If I can get them with the preservation of my honor and fidelity and greatness of mind, show me the way that I will get them. But if you require me to lose my own proper good, that I may gain what is not good, consider how inequitable and foolish you are. Besides, which would you rather have, a sum of money or a friend of fidelity and honor? Rather assist me then to gain this character than require me to do those things by which I may lose it. Well, but my country, say you, as far as depends on me, will be unassisted. Here again, what assistance is this you mean? It will not have the porticos nor baths of your providing. And what signifies that? Why, neither does a smith provide it with shoes, or a shoemaker with arms. It is enough if everyone fully performs his own proper business. And were you to supply it, with another citizen of honor and fidelity, would not he be of use to it? Yes. Therefore, neither are you yourself useless to it. What place, then say you, will I hold in this state? Whatever you can hold with the preservation of your fidelity and honor. But if by desiring to be useful to that, you lose these, of what use can you be to your country when you are become faithless and void of shame?
Oh, every politician ever should
Yes.
read this.
And
Especially ones like Cory Booker who take like money from the pharmaceutical companies.
well,
I
this
mean,
could, yeah,
this is kind of like, okay, well, I want to attain power so I can help. Okay, well, how are you going to attain power? Well, I'm going to make money. How are you going to make money? Oh, I'm going to go against my own principles.
well, yeah, I think we need to summarize this really quick.
Okay.
What this big block actually just all of this means is if you have to destroy your own ethics in order to achieve something that you want,
Gain more subs.
Yeah, gaining more subs, more money, things like that, it's not worth doing. So if you have to destroy your own ethics and become an unethical and disdainful person in order to achieve these things, by the end, no one's going to want to be around you anyway.
Yeah.
They're not going to care. And the only people that will be around you are the people that are exactly like you, that have no ethics and have nothing but a want for more fame or more power or things along those varieties.
People are going to who want to use you or who would use you.
Yes.
That's it very much ties into like a lot of stuff that has been happening in my personal life lately. I mean, you know, people say, well, you're losing subs. Well, so I still have my principles. I'm not going to thwart that just to get subs, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the chat, stripping for funds for an animal shelter. That's going to depend. Like if stripping is
stripping against your principles?
If stripping is against your principles and then you go ahead and do it just to get funds for an animal shelter, that in itself would not be good because then you're going against your ethic. But if you have no problem stripping, like if you have no problem with nudity or anything like that, then no, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a problem.
Because this, you know, this is all based on, you know, your personal principles.
Yeah, your personal ethics. It's saying don't break your personal ethics. So like, what's a good example? Without going too personal.
I'm sorry. It's just fucking uncanny to me. Right? That we're like, I've read this, but I didn't have this in mind when I started this series. And it's just like, wow.
So for folks that don't know, I'll just go ahead and say it. I started a new channel, completely fresh slate, because I want to do this my way. And I want to completely stick to my ethics. There were some things that I did on my old channel that I was not proud of, and I no longer wanted to be associated with. And so I'm moving away from that. And so I started a new channel. I've currently got 35 subs. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. And I'm going to build it up my way. And I'm going to stick to my ethics and have the people on that I want to have on that are humanists and feminists and social justice warriors and people that love humanity. And yeah, that's my thing. So that's why I started the new channel and a clean slate and everything along those lines.
I'm proud of you. Really proud of you.
Yep.
Like, you know, and the people that have quote unquote lost respect for you, they never had it to begin with.
Well, that's what it seems like. It's a situation where it's like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about people themselves. I want to say, like,
well, I'm just saying, like, in the principle of it, like, you know, like when Epictetus was talking about this, you know, it was never.
Yeah, I understand that. And so, like, what I've done seems completely counter anyone's logical process, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I
They're
have a
not
channel.
thinking.
Well, let me complete. I have a
Okay.
channel that has near 4,000 subs right now. I have a channel that's monetized that I could continue producing content on and make money on. But I'm deciding I don't really want that because I don't really want to continue on that channel. So I'm giving that up, and it's going to mean less money. It's going to mean less views, less subs for a while. But it's something that I have to do uh, because of my ethics.
Right. And in doing so, you will attract people that are of fidelity and honor.
Yeah, and I
Right?
know I have an audience out there. It's just
Yeah.
getting them to the new channel, which will take time. It's not something that I'm excited about it. Like
Yeah.
when I hit 10 subs, I'm like, I got that 10 sub hit of like endorphins, and I'm like, yeah.
Yay.
And but yeah, it's just my thing. It's my thing. It's what I do.
Yes.
Doop de doo.
Doop de doo. Well, have you had enough epic titties for tonight?
How long?
More?
Go down. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I've had enough. That's another
brick.
big long block. So
Another block.
so we'll start with 25 the next time around.
All right. Well, go ahead and tell us. Well, you've already just basically
go and sub to my new channel because I am objectively I'm just Maddie of the Objectively Subjective channel, and it's where ideas meet humanity. And I'm pretty excited about the new direction, the new channel, and everything that I'm going to be doing. So go and sub to me there, and because Snarky has way more subs than me now, and she needs to give me some subs.
And I have the link in the description, of course. And here's the link again. I'm pretty sure everybody here has already subbed, but still.
Yeah. If you're not subbed, you don't love me.
And we also have links to both of our Patreons in the description as well. And yeah, be sure to join us next week around the same time for more epic titties.
Epic titties!
Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.